The One Malaysia policy was introduced by Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak in 2009 with the main objective of strengthening unity among the races in Malaysia, such as Malays, Chinese, Indian and others. It emphasized the values of justice, equality and acceptance without interfering with the rights of the races guaranteed in the Federal Constitution through the principle of people first, achievement first. This policy focuses on the needs of the people and the overall development of the country. To realize this goal, the government has implemented various important initiatives such as the One Malaysia People's Assistance (BRIM) to ease the financial burden of the low-income group, the One Malaysia Clinic which provide basic health services at affordable prices, and the establishment of the One Malaysia Foundation which organize education and community program to foster a spirit of unity. All these programs aim to bridge the socio-economic gap and ensure that no netizen is left out of development. However, this policy has not escaped criticism. Many believe that its implementation is inconsistent and affected by political issues and scandals such as 1MDB, which have undermined the trust of the people. Despite this, the One Malaysia concept remains relevant as a guide in building a more united, just and inclusive nation. It reminds us that true unity requires transparent policies, sustained action and respect for the diversity of Malaysians.
The One Malaysia policy was introduced with several key objectives to promote unity and improve the life of Malaysians. The first objective was to strengthen national unity. It aimed to unite people of different race, religions and background under one Malaysia identity. The slogan, "Rakyat didahulukan, pencapaian diutamakan," reflected the goal of putting people first and delivering results that benefits others. The second objective focused on fairness and equal opportunities. The government wanted to ensure that no community felt left behind, especially in education, healthcare and the economy. Programs like Klinik Satu Malaysia and Kedai Rakyat Satu Malaysia were introduced to support lower income groups. The third objective was to improve government service delivery. This was done through the Government Transformation Program or GTP, which used Key Performance Indicator or KPIs to measure public sector performance. Urban Transformation Centre UTCs were also built to make government service more accessible. And the last one is the fourth objective was to improve integration between Peninsular Malaysia and East Malaysia. More attention was given to development in Sabah and Sarawak, especially in rural areas, to reduce the gap and ensure equal growth across the country.
One of the One Malaysia policy issue is socio-economic imbalance and national unity. This issue has started even before this policy being implemented. Socio-economic imbalance refers to differences in income, wealth ownership, access to education and employment opportunities among people of different races. Since the colonial era, the economic system has formed a society based on the specialization of the race. As for the Malays in the rural agricultural sector, the Chinese in the businesses and mining sectors in the city, and the Indians in the estate sector. The situation creates a significant income gap and regional development. Up until now, economic imbalance between races is still a visible reality in the structure of Malaysian society. Some specific ethnic groups are more dominant in certain sectors of the economy, while other groups are still struggling to acquire stable ownership of property or business. For example, many Chinese entrepreneurs have strong position in business and commerce in big city. Meanwhile, many in the Bumiputra community are still in the informal or low-income sectors of this economy. Indians, on the other hand, are often marginalized in urban areas and face socio-economic problems such as unemployment, lack of skill, and squatter settlement. Other than that, the education system and the job market also reflect socio-economic imbalance that affect cohesion. Schools in rural areas, which often house students of a particular ethnicity, still face shortage in infrastructure, specialist teachers, and technological facilities. This disadvantage made it difficult for students to compete with their peers from the city in exams and application to universities. In the job market, there is a tendency for certain companies to prioritize candidates from certain ethnic or linguistic background. This may happen unintentionally, but it still creates a negative impact on other worthy opportunities of society. When an individual sees his opportunity blocked or denied just because of his racial background, there will be a sense of injustice that undermines trust in the national system. This situation can trigger social isolation, while different communities no longer interact or understand each other, thus weakening racial unity. Furthermore, in a multiracial society, perceptions of government policy play a large role in building or undermining unity. Although a policy is designed to help the needy, but if it is seen only in favor of one particular race or group, other communities will begin to question its intentions and justice. For example, housing assistance, scholarships, or entrepreneurial opportunity that are not transparently distributed will create a perception of favoritism. When certain communities feel they are always left out of development opportunities, distrust between races will grow. In the long run, this has made effort to form a common national identity difficult. The second issue is the issue of policy overlaps issues, which is One Malaysia and the old economic policies. In the country's development landscape, public policy plays an important role as a guide to economic direction and social cohesion. However, Malaysia has been faced with a situation where two key policies, the One Malaysia policy and Old Economy policy, such as the New Economic Policy (NEP), are seen to contradict each other. The One Malaysia policy, which emphasized the principles of equality and togetherness, was often seen as being at odds with the NEP, which focused on special privilege for certain races. Its application of principle creates confusion among the people, undermine faith in the fairness of government policy, and slow down effort to achieve national unity as a whole. The One Malaysia policy emphasized the principle of equality for all people regardless of race, but at the same time, existing policies such as the affirmative policy are still based on preference for Bumiputra. This creates confusion in the implementation of public policy, for example, in the granting of scholarships, business assistance, and equity ownership. It is difficult for people to understand whether the state prioritizes meritocracy or racial privilege. This inconsistency causes government policy to be seen as unclear and open space for dissatisfaction among the people. Furthermore, when two conflicting policy approaches are implemented simultaneously, one based on equality and the other based on race, it invites a perception of bias. For example, non-Bumiputra feel they do not have equal access to opportunity in the public sector or higher education, despite One Malaysia promise of opportunity for all. On the other hand, the indigenous people are concerned about their right being eroded. This perception creates racial tension and erodes confidence in national unity effort. In addition, another big issue due to policy overlap is the lack of coordination between government agencies in implementing policy. Some agencies are still adopting the old policy framework, while others are trying to implement new approaches such as One Malaysia. This causes the implementation of policy to be non-uniform and ineffective. In fact, there is a duplication of program that wastes allocation and thwart the achievement of the original objective. The people who deal with this agency in turn become victims of policy confusion and administrative incompetence.
Next is about the actor in One Malaysian policy. In order to implement the One Malaysian policy, many actors are involved either directly or indirectly. First is federal government. Federal government, the Prime Minister's department, is directly responsible for overseeing the One Malaysian policy by establishing the Performance Management and Delivery Unit, or we call it as Pemandu. Pemandu was established to monitor the effectiveness of the implementation of One Malaysian related initiatives, including Government Transformation Program (GTP) to strengthen economic growth, lower crime and corruption, and also improve public services. The second actors is ministry and government agencies. The Ministry of National Unity is involved in organizing unity programs, seminars, and awareness campaigns for all Malaysians. The Ministry of Health also plays important roles in providing initiatives such as establishments of One Malaysian Clinic, which provides basic health services that are affordable and easily accessible to all Malaysians. Apart from that, RTM and government media agencies also involved in implementing the One Malaysian policy by spreading the One Malaysian message through the campaigns and advertisement. Next is non-governmental organization (NGO). NGO is involved in community programs, talks, and seminars to spread the value of One Malaysian to the public. NGOs are the link between the government and the people. NGOs also become a channel for the people's voice by voicing the people's voice and opinions to the government and ensuring that the matters receive a positive and fair response.
Among the strategy that has been implemented by the government is the introduction of direct financial assistance to the people, regardless of race, such as the One Malaysia People's Aid (BRIM). The main purpose of this assistance is to reduce the burden of the cost of living for the B14 group, as well as narrowing the economic gap between the people. In addition, agencies such as Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia and Tekun Nasional are also given roles to assist small entrepreneurs from various racial backgrounds through microfinance. Through this approach, the opportunity to generate income is expanded fairly and is able to improve the economic standard of the people in need. Other than that, education also the key to breaking the cycle of poverty and building an equal society. Therefore, the government has expanded access to higher education through the granting of scholarship to students from B14 group, regardless of race. Programs such as My Brand 15 as well as TVET, institutional enhancement and skill training were also implemented. In addition, the development of rural school infrastructure has been enhanced to ensure that rural students, including Bumiputra and Indian, are not left behind. This effort opens up space for more balanced social mobility and guarantee more equitable employment opportunity for all races. In addition, to address the challenge of unity, various programs have been mobilized to promote interracial interaction. Among those implemented include the One Malaysia Community Program, Rukun Tetangga, and volunteer initiative under IM4U. These programs are designed to promote understanding, tolerance, and cooperation among people of different races in the same community. In fact, the government has also introduced cross-cultural campaigns and activities in schools and institutions of higher education as a space to build healthy relationships between the younger generation. This is essential to eliminate stereotypes and create a stronger national identity. To reduce the confusion between the principle of equality and racial privilege, the government has introduced a need-based approach. For example, the implementation of the Rahmah Cash Contribution Program and early schooling assistance are given according to income level, not racial background. This approach shows the government's effort to balance aid without denying the needy from any race. With this, the people began to see the policy as more just and inclusive in line with the spirit of One Malaysia. Next, to address the perception of bias and strengthen unity, the government has set up the National Unity Council and implements programs such as Kembara Persatuan Keluarga Malaysia. This initiative aims to create an open dialogue between the people of various races and foster mutual understanding. In addition, the platform is also a space for the public to voice concern about policy that are considered unbalanced, thus helping the government improve the existing approach. This strategy brings people closer to the policy process and restore trust in the government. At last, to overcome policy coordination weaknesses and agency inefficiencies, the government has introduced the Digital Initiative, which integrates a digital and transparent public service delivery system. In addition, the implementation of National Anti-Corruption Plan also focuses on integrity in policy implementation. The use of centralized data and digital monitoring allows the government to identify overlaps or drop out in program implementation. Through this digital transformation, alignment between agencies can be improved and policy implementation made more effective.
The One Malaysia policy emphasizes unity and inclusiveness among all races in Malaysia. It promotes equality and a culture of achievement regardless of racial, or religious background, so that all citizens feel valued and united. Through programs such as the One Malaysia People Assistance or BRIM, as well as the One Malaysia Clinic, the policy has successfully helped the low-income group by providing financial assistance and affordable health services. This has also reduced the socio-economic gap among the people. In addition, One Malaysia strengthened the relationship between the government and the people through an official portal that provides a space for feedback, as well as fostering unity among the younger generation through educational activities such as the One Malaysia Club. In this way, the policy instilled a spirit of respect and tolerance for a more united Malaysia's future.
Although the One Malaysia policy had good intention, it faced several serious weaknesses that made it hard to achieve real national unity. First, many people didn't understand what the policy actually meant. The slogans sound nice, but there were no clear steps or explanation. Even some leaders said they were confused about its true purpose. Second, some people felt the policy was not fair. Certain non-Malay community felt left out, while some Malays were afraid their special rights would be affected. This created misunderstanding and tensions. Next, the 1MDB scandal. The fund was supposed to help the country, but instead, billions were stolen and misused. This made people lose trust in the government and in the One Malaysian name. Other than that, the government also focused too much on branding. The logo and slogan were everywhere, but many people didn't see real change in their life. It looked more like a promotion than a real united effort. Also, the government didn't involve the public enough. Many people, especially in rural areas, didn't get a chance to share their views or be part of the programs. And the last one, racial and religious tension still continues. School and housing areas were still divided, and some political parties kept using race and religion to get support. So in the end, real unity was not achieved.
Next is the opportunities. One Malaysian policy opens up many opportunities for the country, the government, and also the community. For the first one is to access public facilities. Among the facilities developed by the government are the One Malaysian Clinic, One Malaysian Internet Centre, and One Malaysian Paper Shop. All of these facilities are very important for all communities because the government provides easy access and cheap price. The second one is for education and human capital development. The government provides scholarship programs and school assistance, especially for the students who have financial problems. These programs help to ease the burden on the parents because they don't have to worry about their children's school expenses. Also, the Ministry of Education encourages students of all races to remain active in national and community programs to strengthen the ties with other races without any misunderstanding conflict between races. Next is for national unity and integration. One Malaysian policy encourages all people from different backgrounds to interact and work together with each other. This can help to build understanding between different races and religions. Also can reduce the social gaps through awareness and tolerance programs. With an attitude of unity within us, we can be tolerant of everyone without having to question what race they are from. Next, the opportunities for economic growth and entrepreneurship. The Economic Transformation Program (ETP) established in order to pull in investment, provide job opportunities, and encourage sustainable growth. It is concentrating on a number of industries, including manufacturing, services, and tourism, with the objective of making Malaysia an economically successful nation by 2020. Last but not least, One Malaysia opens up opportunities for building national identity and self-confidence. One Malaysian policy creates a sense of pride in being part of Malaysian people and also creates a sense of love for the country. However, it also makes the people more united, responsible, and also open-minded before doing something. Therefore, every community needs to instill noble values such as tolerance, respect, and loyalty to the country in each other so that our country is more peaceful and harmonious.
Threats to the implementation of the One Malaysia policy can come from various aspects such as preserving national unity, resolving socio-economic differences, and negotiating the country's unique ethnic and cultural terrain. Difficulties may also arise from political unrest, cybersecurity risks, and external influences. Malaysia has gone through a difficult transition in maintaining public order, national security, and sovereignty. Threats from both state and non-state actors can significantly undermine national security. The Malays are facing several difficulties, including educational and economic challenges and opportunity disparities. Politics shouldn't make Malay feel inferior or excluded. Instead, they should work toward their improvement and contribute to the nation's progress. Emphasizing differences and racial interests in politics can undermine social cohesion and unity. This may impair international collaboration, foreign investment, and national advancement. Our society also faces problems with inequality and injustice. Priority should be given to economic equality and social justice through fair policies that help those in need without compromising unity or disregarding the rights of other races. Race-based politics is still relevant to address societal issues, but it must be inclusive and foster togetherness. Politics should be centered on fairness and shared interests. Harmony, integration, and social justice are critical to the country's advancement. We must ensure that race-based politics do not cause division or injustice and continue to work for unity and fairness for all Malaysians. One of the biggest dangers to the One Malaysia idea is ethnic divisiveness. Malaysia's history of ethnically oriented policy make it difficult for a single national identity to emerge. Dissatisfaction among non-Bumiputra groups stems from race-based affirmative action programs under the new economic policy (NEP), which have disproportionately benefit to the Bumiputra. While the goal was to improve Malay socio-economic status, it has also increased feeling of inequality. Ethnic political parties further exacerbate these disparities by prioritizing community concerns over national unity. The concept of One Malaysia struggles to gain traction in this context. National unity is also threatened by the spread of hate speech and false information on social media. Fake news, polarizing narrative, and racial and religious epithets are common, giving extremist viewpoints a platform. This hampers mutual respect and provides fringe groups a stage to spread ideas against the spirit of One Malaysia. Without proper regulation and ethical media practices, national unity will continue to be undermined. The One Malaysia concept was an ambitious attempt to promote a single Malaysian identity, but its implementation faces challenges from systemic inequity, disinformation, ethnic division, and political opportunism. The success of future national unity programs depends on tackling these issues comprehensively. Consistent political will, inclusive governance, and active public participation are essential for lasting unification. Institutional, media, and educational reforms are also needed. Only then can Malaysia move closer to becoming a truly harmonious and united nation. The Malaysia policy was a daring attempt to create a unified, inclusive national identity for Malaysia's multi-religious community. However, there have been many intricate difficulties in putting it into practice. Several factors, including racialized politics, socio-economic inequality, ethnic conflicts, and dissemination of hate speech and false information on social media, pose threats to this strategy. This fundamental goal of One Malaysia, which is to promote true unity among all Malaysians, is compromised by these elements. Dissatisfaction and a sense of exclusion have become by structural inequities such as income disparities and unequal opportunities. Although the new economic policy, NEP, and other affirmative action programs were intended to improve the socio-economic standing of the Malay community, their inconsistent implementation has led to perceived injustices. Interethnic harmony and trust have also been undermined by the media use of racially charged political dams and devices speech. However, One Malaysian's vision is still important and relevant for the future of the nation. A comprehensive strategy, including political will, inclusive governance, institutional reform, and a unity-promoting educational system, is needed to revive this ambition. Citizens must be empowered to actively participate in creating a just and cohesive society. Malaysia can only move closer to becoming a united, successful, and peaceful country through the combined efforts of all societal segments, the government, institutions, and the populace.